and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. We got the A-team in the house, the real estate A-team that is here, and we're going to dive deep into zoning. When you think about real estate, we're going to dive deep into credit improvement, also maybe talk a little bit about construction to perm loans, trying to mix it up a little bit on the real estate front. So we have our real estate A-team in the house, Diane VANCE, William Crowley, and Ray Hall coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And the goal is always to be a consumer advocate to help you understand your buying decisions and make you more street smart right here in Tampa Bay. We're your number one consumer advocate-based program. Save our hotline number in your phone, if you would, please. Pull out your phone, save our number in there, 813-750-0550. And we love it when the hotline rings, 813-750-0550. It's an off-air number. You can call and say, hey, I want to get Diane to pre-approve me. I want to have that credit man work on my credit. You know, I want Ray to check out the value on my home. There's a lot of things you can do to get engaged here with the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, hit the website up, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. A couple of hot listings. We always talk about our listings on the air here because we want to help our sellers profit more and sell faster, utilizing our innovation with radio, TV, internet marketing, 85 different outlets, Apple, Amazon, Roku, and a bunch of others. 1010 Bay Esplanade right here in Clearwater. This is on the beach, the north side of Clearwater Beach, 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a property. It's about 3,200 square feet, just shy, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2-car garage, apartment, and a beautiful sun deck. So you got some awesome views of the intercoastal waterways, the dolphin-filled waters of North Clearwater Beach, and of course it's a short walk to the beach itself. 1813 East Knollwood in Tampa. This is a gorgeous property, completely renovated, beautiful home in the Seminole Heights area. So you're close to downtown. You're close to a lot of the cool stuff down there in that area and some great job opportunities. So you got 1,300 square feet, 3 bedroom, 3 bath, and a fenced-in backyard right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. I'll tell you what, our feel-good story of the day is a pretty cool one as well. 70-year-old man rows across the Atlantic Ocean and raises $1 million for Alzheimer's research. I mean, I can't imagine doing that at mid-40s, going across. So Ray Hall in the house. Let's introduce Ray here. He's in the studio. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
Staying busy.
I'm feeling lazy now after hearing that story.
How you go? It's 50-something days I think it took to get over there. 56 days later.
I went to the gym yesterday morning. I was like, yes, my week's good.
Go.
All right.
You did something.
I did something. This guy just beat me.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, Ray's in the house, staying busy with the appraisal business, I'm sure. We got Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage as well, local lender, support the local economy. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Brandon, how you doing? So, I hope I can do that at age 70. Actually, I couldn't do that at my age now. But,
Me
but
neither.
You know, my daughter runs in a running club, and there's a 71-year-old that actually ran a marathon with her the other day. So, hey, there's a lot of them out there.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yes.
I like it. William Crowley, what about you? Are you going to be hitting the Atlantic Ocean, rowing across the Atlantic Ocean?
I've already done it twice.
Oh, okay. Of course he did. That's right. Yeah. So William Crowley's our local expert in all things credit improvement. Some people call it credit repair. He likes to call it credit restoration.
Yes, sir. Credit restoration is more friendly and it's hands-on, transparent, and people really get to use this for the rest of their lives. We're not teaching them to fish for a day, but we're teaching them to do their credit for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and we've had a rough week this week. You know, we had a couple legends. You know, local legend here in Tampa Bay, Vincent Jackson. You know, passing Buccaneer football player, wide receiver, and former guest on our show, and probably the king of radio altogether. Rush Limbaugh, conservative talk show host, and really just the pulse of the conservative movement. William, pretty sad day for conservatives.
It is. He really. I used to hate the guy with a passion, but after I listened to him, I said, "God, this guy makes a lot of sense, and he's really done a lot for our communities out there." So, kudos to him and condolences to the family.
Yep, that's right. And you see all the different folks weighing in on his death, and And it's just amazing. He actually, staffers at the White House would actually listen in. Hey, what's he saying? What's Rush saying today? Between 12 and 3, they're like, what's he saying about peace in the Middle East? They're working on that deal. Charlie Kirk mentioned how he's working on it with Kushner, and it's pretty cool. It was really cool to hear some of the reaction and see some of that, and of course, very sad to see some of the reaction from the far left. The far left, they're saying, "Rest in piss," is what they said. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
that's just really obnoxious.
It's got to go.
The whole racism issue's got to go because he was not a racist. Now I'm a black man, and I'm telling people don't believe that hype.
Exactly. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about things here in Tampa Bay, the real estate market. A lot of good things happening, and Ray's right here in studio. I want to kind of get his pulse since it's been a little while since you've been in studio. I know you had a nice vacation and stuff, back to work.
Yep.
And man, have you ever seen a more fluid market, a hot market, a seller's market as we're in right now?
Not really. It obviously reminds me back in 2005.
Yeah.
But even back then, I don't remember it being such the low inventory.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still had a more inventory back in that market.
I think so.
These days, I was looking up something this morning. I had a lender came back and they wanted me to include some listings in an appraisal, and all that was available were pending sales. There were no active listings available in this neighborhood.
Wow.
So that just shows you, if you want to live in this neighborhood, you've got to go knock on people's doors and say, hey, can I buy your house?
So pending, let's dive on that a little deeper. So when it says pending, you don't really know what the actual closed sales price is going to be yet, right?
No. At that point, you still only know the listing price.
Right.
They don't disclose the actual sales price until after the closing.
Yeah.
And I've tried to be sneaky and get some realtors to tell me, and they keep that close to the vest. So that's how. But when I say pending, that means it's under contract.
Yep.
And they're negotiating towards the closing.
Yep, that's right. And Diane, same question to you. Hot market. You're one of the top 5 lenders in the country, and a local regional manager here in Tampa Bay. Same kind of pulse.
Oh yeah, it has been busy. We have a lot. We have probably more prospects in our. Prospects meaning we've already pre-approved them, and they're just sitting there and they're looking for houses. We probably have more so it goes by 30, 60, 90, 180 days, and we have more than we've ever had because people are waiting. They can't find a house, or there's not enough homes. Exactly what Ray said. And the difference in 2005 was you actually had too much inventory, and it was driving the price up. It wasn't the shortage of inventory, I don't believe, like we have today. So I think that's what the differences are. Yeah. And, of course, interest rates are not has never been as low as they've been. So that also is a little bit of difference. A lot of people realize they can actually purchase. They can get more for their money because interest rates are lower.
And I want to get William's reaction, but you made me think of something as well. So a lot of times people, when I'm talking to folks and they do get a little bit greedy in this type of market, and I really like to think, and I listen to Phil's gang as well on our station, very smart in terms more about the stock market, more what's going on. So Phil, I was listening to him the other day, and just it really makes sense when you think about it. So the market dynamics are different, way different than back in 06, 07, 08, right? So back then we were still at 6.5%, 7% interest rates. Yep. Now, if you couple that with our great politicians in D.C., no matter which side you're on, they got a 12% approval rating. What happens is they're printing all this money. They're sending it overseas for Pakistan gender studies or whatever they're doing, AKA kickbacks to their friends, right? And what happens is we're watering down our currency, and Diane can dive deeper about the Fed and how it affects rates later. But we're watering down our currency. What happens is when you do that is now, of course, you see the rise of Bitcoin and some of these other cryptocurrencies and things of that nature. People are hedging against inflation by buying land, by buying real estate, by investing in apartments. But when this crash happens, there's a looming crash that will happen at some point. Some people say the next 6 to 8 months. What's going to be majorly different this time is it's going to happen in the stock market first, not the real estate market. And I do believe we are insulated to a very strong degree here in South Tampa because what we talk about a lot on the show, people moving from other states. But my major point is that once this balloon busts in the stock market, we're not going to have anything to slow it down. Last time we were able to cut rates. Oh, okay, let's cut to 5.75. Okay, let's drop it to 4.875. Okay, we're going to drop it to 3.25 this month. Now you don't have that mechanism for controlling that fall, that slip, that coming down side of it. So how is that going to affect some of these major corporations? Are they going to lay off? And then how does that affect the W-2 employees, the stocks? Ray, back to you.
It's that's a hard one for me. I mean, on my side of it, it's a good point. We don't have that cushion. All we can hope for is that after the last crash, they put the right, shall we say, stops in place.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that. But on the real estate side, I don't know how bad it would be on the real estate side. I remember 2005, I went to a house. They were desperate for that value.
Yeah.
Desperate.
South Florida. William, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, I would just anticipate the worst case scenario, but I'm all about people looking at alternative viewpoints of even the market. Like Franklin Roosevelt said, nothing happens in politics by accident. I said nothing happens in the economy by accident either. Somebody benefits.
Yeah.
So we have to be constantly vigilant and constantly looking for alternative viewpoints, looking at both sides. You just can't look at CNN or Fox and the financial news channels out there, because a lot of them are in the pockets. Both the Republicans and the Democrats are in the pockets of these bankers that are really the ones that are controlling the economy.
That's right.
So if we follow the money, we'll see where the contradictions exist. But we, the people, are always the ones that suffer the most. So we need to become more proactive.
Yes.
Start studying these trends and trying to get ahead of the game.
That's right. No, that's a great point. And that was kind of like the underlying point of the GameStop thing last couple weeks back. Oh, well, these people are, we got to stop their trades. These people. Well, the guys on the financial networks, these financial entertainers, buy, sell. They do that all day long, and of course they're making money on the back end. We got to come into a break, but this is great. Let's keep it up. Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage on the show today. William Crowley, credit restoration expert, and Ray Hall Appraisals. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our expert contributors right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day is awesome. We talked about a 70-year-old man rows across the Atlantic Ocean and raises $1 million for Alzheimer's research. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP Team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
My name is James DeJerome, and I produce the Consumer Quarterback Show for Brandon Rhymes. The Consumer Quarterback Show is a team, a group of like-minded professionals who partner together to provide our audience sound advice, knowledge, and information to make them wiser consumers. We work with all types of business owners and aggressively promote our local economy. We're currently conducting interviews for our expert contributors. If you own a business or know someone who would benefit from the exposure our show provides, please contact us at 813-750-0550 or online at consumerqb.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here. Shout out for Veteran Gutters right here in Tampa Bay. If you're thinking about adding gutters to your home, it really helps add value to your home's resale value. It adds value, of course, from further, essentially what happens is the water is going to run down. It's going to come back into your home. So if you don't have gutters, veteran gutters is the way to go. Brandon Porter and his team, they do such a great job. Veteran-owned, American-made products support the good old USA, the red, white, and blue right here in Tampa Bay. Veteran gutters, make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Give them a call, and you can look them up on our website as well, consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. We got a hot property listing here in Tampa Bay. This is in Ennisbrook. It's 36750. US 19 in Palm Harbor. This is a golf community. There's pools, there's clubhouses, all kinds of cool stuff, and there are great restaurants in Ennisbrook. So you've got 1175 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bath property at 36750 US 19 in Palm Harbor. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. If you're a golfer, you should definitely check that out. 5727. But see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, let's pick it up where we left off there, William. I know when you look at credit plays, comes to play in here, and with the market being so hot, what are you seeing?
Well, just the most important thing is that I'd let people know the information on the credit reports, because I'm helping the real estate and the mortgage industry with their clients to overcome some of these obstacles. But the consumer has to know that if the information does in fact belong to them, that's negative on the credit report or that's adversely affecting them, then that's where you come and utilize the benefits of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't belong to you, you got proof that it doesn't belong to you, I tell people file a police report. You don't have to come and pay for a credit repair. You can actually do the credit repair yourself. If you're a victim of identity theft, then just file a police report, send that information into the credit reporting agency. If it does belong to you, then that's when you want to use the Fair Credit Reporting Act and attack the information using the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And remember, we're going after the credit reporting agency for violation of due process. We're not going after the lenders because the information does in fact belong to you with the lender. We're going after the credit reporting agency who has missed steps in following this information according to the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So that's very important for people to know. I get people to ask me that question over and over again, and somehow or other it just doesn't sink in because I think we've been conditioned to say, pay your debts. And I do strongly encourage people, pay your debts if you do owe these debts.
Yeah.
But there are real debts and there are unreal debts. And I can show you how to make that distinction using the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. I allow myself to segue right into that. But the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act will be able to distinguish what debts are yours and what debts aren't yours, and then we can use the Fair Credit Reporting Act to remove the information from the credit report and then be able to have you challenge the debt from a legal platform, and 9 times out of 10, the collector will go away using the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and the validation of debt process.
Right.
So it's just that I want consumers to be aware of this, and like I said, it's transparent. So we're not just telling you to send us the information and we send it off to the credit reporting agency. We actually send the information prepared to the client. All they do is sign it, and then they keep copies for the record so they can see the laws that we're using, and that we're not using the same laws over and over again like a lot of credit repair companies do. I just discovered that this week with a competitor that they were mailing the information out for the client, and they were just sending the same dispute out each and every time, and the client wasn't aware of that.
Mm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like your program because it's an educational process. You're teaching folks throughout the process, and I want to bring Diane into that conversation as well. Diane, when you look at credit and what William can do for clients, and then what the bank's lending criteria are, what are you seeing in that space? And I know at some point I think we opened up credit a little bit. They lowered some of the requirements recently.
Yep. Yeah. So for government loans, we're back down to 580. We are now. The banks are not. But as far as lenders that we don't have deposits and things like that, we are down to 580 for government loans, meaning VA and FHA loans. However, when you do that, it still has to run automated approval, sort of like on conventional loans, which are a lot of people do conventional loans. It's a minimum of a 620 credit score. But if I have to get an approval, so I always run an automated approval system. And if a lot of those people, unless there's 2 people on the loan or something like that, if it's below like 640, we have a hard time getting them approved. So a lot of times we'll have to flip them to a government loan. So it's credit is so important, and it's even becoming more important. Effective March 15th, we have a new, it's called URLA, which is the application. So we have a new one that is now 9 pages, and the current one is only 4. So there's additional questions for borrowers. So they've actually, so credit's becoming more and more important.
Yeah, absolutely. Credit, and it's not just the loan process. It's more than that. It's employment.
It's everything.
William, where are you seeing? What's the strangest credit scenario you've seen in terms of qualifications for jobs and all types of stuff?
Oh, if people just need to be proactive, because every place is checking the credit. I mean, like you say, jobs, insurance. They're going to raise your insurance. Promotion on the job. That's why I had a big problem with general contractors and police officers come to me a lot, because they can't get promoted. They got negative information on the credit report, and the general contractors can't get their license if they have a substandard score.
Right.
But I also wanted to add to what Diane was saying. Even at that threshold where you say there's 580 to 620, where people get approved for them loans, they still where I come in is I definitely want to get these clients' credit score up to that 580 to that 620 for Diane. But say that if they come to you with the 620 and they're eligible to get the loan, after they get the loan, you still may want to send them over to me, because that means that that 620 still says that they have negative issues on their credit report that needs to be addressed. But secure the home, and then I can work with them thereafter.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of times, what we do is we'll try to improve the credit, and that's when we would send those to you, William. But it's really important to pay attention to your credit, understand it, and William is great at explaining it. So education is the key on that. So it's definitely, most of the time when you have a 580 or a 620, you typically have something in your history that has not been rectified.
Yeah, life event. There's going to be a life event, a divorce, a bankruptcy, a job
layoff.
Happens. Those life events happen, and the sooner you can get that advice and look to the experts that we provided, and you could reach out. Anything you heard on the show today, of course, reach out to the hotline 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline 813-750-0550. And here's a neat niche for you as well. When you look at, sometimes you have folks that love a home, they're trying to get into the home, credit's not there yet, they couldn't get the mortgage. We've got some programs where we have a particular investor that will actually purchase the property and lease it back, regardless of credit score, as long as they're putting a little bit of money in the game, down payment, skin in the game. As long as it has land involved, it's a real estate deal. So it could be a manufactured mobile home, concrete block home, whatever type of home, commercial building. If you have any scenarios like that, folks out there, we would love to help you. So, save that hotline number, 750-0550, call or text, and also consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. Ray, anything to comment on what we were just talking about there? We've got about a minute left in this segment.
Credit's, a little bit removed from what my role is in the whole thing. For me, it's valuing the asset to see if that can. But, we were kind of touching on it earlier and about the difference between 2005 and now.
Yeah.
And one thing I've noticed is a lot of people aren't taking equity out of their houses now.
Interesting.
And that was a lot different back in 2005, 2006. And I think people went, a lot of people over-leveraged themselves back in 2005, and that's why we got into that big mess.
Yep.
And, I think people are valuing their credit more. Yeah. And they're paying more attention to it, and they're realizing that, there's responsible borrowing and there's irresponsible.
Yeah.
And I like to think that we're going to be better off this time because people are looking at it a little more responsibly.
Exactly. Yeah. And then sometimes the kids saw the parents struggling, and they said, hey, I'm not going to do that same thing. We're going to be a little bit smart about the way we access our equity only when we need it, etc. Stay with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Diane Vance, Ray Hall, William Crowley here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Please follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, Brandon Rhymes Realty on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll be right back.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Brandon, if you can hear me, please let me know when we can proceed. Did I hear him say we're ready? No, it was you. Whatever you're doing on the microphone, eating, drinking, chewing, tobacco, whatever, I can hear it. Okay, everybody in that case, please stand by. No, they're still there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We want to help you win in your real estate deals. We're also hiring to our team right now. We're looking for just a couple of great agents that want to join our team. They want to take advantage of our plethora of leads coming in and our knowledge, skills, and abilities where we can help you grow your real estate career. Keller Williams Realty, #1 real estate company in the world, $400 billion in sales. Our local ownership team here did $1.7 billion in sales. And our team, Lindsay and my team, we are ranked in the top 1%. So we did over $20 million in sales this past year, 2 years in a row. So we want to help you win. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. Call or text that line, 813-750-0550, consumerqb.com. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And we've got some great properties here in Tampa Bay. Here's one at 6128 Oak Ridge Avenue. This is one in Newport Richey. Great opportunity. It's 4,200 square feet, full acre of land on the river. So bring your boat, bring your jet skis, enjoy a full acre of land right on the river with bay access in Newport Richey. So think about the possibilities there. Cruising down to some of the restaurants there, cruising out and going fishing. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, so we got the real estate A-team in the house. Diane, VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, all things lending. William Crowley, the credit man, the credit magician on the show, all things credit. And we got Ray Hall Appraisals, all things valuations and appraisals for real estate, vacant land, commercial. You even did some some citrus trees a while back you told us about.
I did a very large citrus grove once. That was a very interesting assignment.
Yeah. So let's start there. You know, when you look at valuing properties, you know, I was just mentioning I had interesting this past week. I had one that was kind of set up where there's a lot of rentals. There's some rooms in there. They call it a hostel where you can rent. You know, you got bunk beds in there. I can get a certain amount of money for that bed. That bed I can get a certain amount of money. So they look at the asset and, hey, how many people can I get into this property and have moderate to low income? So you've got an income approach, but then also it's close to downtown. So you're close to Ybor, you're close to downtown. You've got interstates going by. It's literally right by the major interstate there. I think it's I-4 or 275-1. So you've got all these potentials for development, and a lot of times the owners think, "Wow, I'm sitting on a gold mine here," right. But you've got if they're going to develop it, they got to tear it down, they got a demo cost, they got to rezone in a lot of cases. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about rezoning and that maybe that particular asset I just mentioned.
And that's where a lot of people make their mistake is they look at it and they say, "Well, I'll just get it rezoned. We'll just get a rezoning, and I can put a skyscraper on it or something."
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is rezoning isn't as easy as it sounds, especially if you want to transition that property into a more intensive use. So you have a property that has maybe some rentals. Now maybe they're thinking, well, we can put a whole apartment complex.
Yeah.
If we just get it rezoned.
Right.
Well, now you have to go down to the zoning board for that municipality.
Yep.
And I've done it before, and you sit in front of them.
Yep.
And for instance, if you're in a bunch of single-family homes and you're wanting to put an apartment complex and you have to get a rezoning, they're going to look at it and say, well, there's no other apartments here.
Yeah.
The way zoning works is it kind of comes in. it may come from downtown and work its way over, but you're not going to be right in the middle of that block and all of a sudden have the most intensive use on the block.
Right.
Also, future land use designations come into that. You're not going to be any more intense than what that future land use allows, and a lot of people don't know about that. And the commercial side, we deal with that a lot, especially when we're doing vacant land. But when folks just have a residential property, they don't realize there's a lot more tied to it and a lot more tied to a rezoning than, hey, this is a great idea that's going to make me money.
Well, first off, too, you have to be able to have the consideration for the rezoning. You have to have your architectural plans. You got to have all that in place. Am I correct?
Yeah. There's a lot to do.
So that's money up front.
Yep.
To do that, just to maybe get a no.
And you may need to get a lawyer.
Yeah.
And that's money. I mean, there's a lot going on in the background.
Yeah.
That, when I do, say, a cost approach for a commercial property, it's a lot more than what you see on an appraisal report for a house.
Right.
And, we take into consideration things like architectural fees, entrepreneurial incentives,
rising
lawyers,
cost of materials.
Cost of materials. That's very important.
Yep.
Or external influences, things like that. There's so much involved, and there's so much involved in valuing real estate that a lot of people don't see. That's why it's funny to me when someone tells me appraisers don't know what they're talking about. They said my house was this and they said my house was that, but you don't realize there's so much going on than just the house up the street that was twice the size of yours that sold, and now you think it's worth that much money.
Yeah.
And there's all things that we have to learn in real estate and how it impacts those properties.
Yeah. Ray Hall's here in studio with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host. When you look at the misconceptions, let's start there, because I love to grab these misnomers and kind of turn them into something that makes sense for people. What are some of the other misnomers? Just in valuation in general, what do you see, and maybe even per the zoning side, if you want to stay topical?
Well, probably the most popular one I get is, it cost me this much, so my house value went up by this much.
Right.
And you probably hear it all the time too in your end. Yep. That's not the case.
Here, I got a button for that.
Come on, man.
All right, what else you got?
Zoning again. They think it's a simple task.
Yeah.
And another thing they don't realize is not only does the zoning board have to approve it, but a lot of times there's a hearing.
Yeah.
And your neighbors are going to show up.
Exactly. That's a big one.
And I've known people who had I know someone who has a lot on State Road 54.
Yep.
Trying to get it rezoned for commercial use.
Yep.
And it goes to hearing, and the neighbors show up and say no.
I've had it happen to me.
Yeah.
I've had it happen to me.
So
I had a big sale. It was a multi-million-dollar sale. They were going to put assisted living facility in. And, first of all, where do we put our aging demographics, right? It was a nice equestrian style. And, so if everybody has this not in my backyard mentality, what are we going to do? They have to live somewhere, and then they say, oh, well, there's going to be more traffic on the road. Well, last time I checked, people that are in ALFs, they're assisted living. They're not driving sports cars up and down the road all day long, or big F-250s with the big, exhaust going wah, 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 So there's, people at some point need to say, hey, where do our baby boomers, where does our older generation live in their, golden years?
Yeah, but the problem is people are going to say, that's fine, just not here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. I want to go to Diane and get Diane's take on that as well. Diane Vance.
Yeah, it's so a lot of people are so we could do mixed use, not the senior living, but we definitely need something for our seniors. And I think you're right, Brandon, where people think, oh, put it in another neighborhood, not mine. Go ahead and do that.
Yep.
Keep it there. But we can do. We look for residential, but we depend on our appraisers. So I was just talking earlier about, downtown St. Pete, like on Fifth Avenue or something like that. You may have some mixed use properties where, let's say, a mechanic has a garage in his back of his house, and we do allow that type of stuff. But if an appraiser comes and said, hey, this is a better use to be a commercial zoning or commercial commercial real estate, then we depend on our appraiser to tell us what is the highest and best use of that property. And a lot of times they'll come back and they'll tell us that, but sometimes they come back and say, yeah, there's a lot of mixed use in the area. So, those type of things are come up on from the appraiser side.
Yeah, highest and best use. How does that come in on the appraisal side, Ray?
Oh, that's required in every appraisal. There has to be a highest and best use analysis.
Okay.
Residential, we have a little spot on the form. With mine, I do give a larger explanation, so it actually goes over into the addenda. But we basically have to say what is the physically possible, legally permissible, and maximally productive use of the property.
That's interesting.
And so you get to the legally permissible. That's basically zoning and future land use.
Yeah.
Which most single family homes, it's a single family home.
Yeah.
And then financially feasible is if the property was vacant, is it feasible to build a house on it?
Right.
So in other words, we have the cost of the land, the cost of the construction. Is it worth what homes are selling for in that area?
Mm-hmm.
So if you buy the land, you build the house, it's cost you $200,000, but all the houses in the area that are the same size and everything else are $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's an over improvement.
Yeah, exactly.
And that might not be the highest and best use.
I was explaining functional obsolescence this week to a client, and we're looking at going on the market. And I was just talking about and they understood. They said, "Wow, yeah, we get it. We kind of see that our house is older. It has the lower ceilings. The stairwell could have maybe been done a different way." So you get into what we call that functional obsolescence as well. If you just joined us, we're talking with Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. We've got Ray Hall here in studio, Ray Hall Appraisals, and William Crowley on the phones. William, did you want to add anything to what we've been discussing here the last couple minutes?
No, I think it covered it pretty good. Of course, I'm not an expert in that industry, but it sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah. When you get into zoning and stuff, that's a little outside of what you're doing. But yeah, overall, just general when you look at the market, one of the things I just see that could potentially hurt us here coming up is the increase in minimum wage. Less buyers may be qualifying for some of these properties. Small businesses may be being affected going out. I guess if you ask the certain experts, they're saying there's no doubt some small businesses are going out. Some jobs are going to be lost. Automation, instead of asking the clerk to make the deal, it's going to be a computer talking to you. Autonomous vehicles. So when we come back, I want to just explore that conversation with our experts here in studio. How do you think the increase in the minimum wage may affect the real estate market, the market in general, and employment, the employment sector here as well? So stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Diane Vance, more from William Crowley, and Ray Hall here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus our feel-good story of the day coming right up after this break. 70-year-old man rows across the Atlantic Ocean and raises $1 million for Alzheimer's research. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the real estate quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And giving a quick shout out to Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. Whether you're planning a local or long distance move, reach out to our friends at Brothers Easy Moving. They do a great job. First-hand experience, and they are a first-class organization. All right, here's our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so the gentleman's name is Frank Rothwell. He became the oldest person to row unassisted across the Atlantic Ocean, raising more than $1 million for Alzheimer's research. He's from England. He set off the Canary Islands on December 12th and crossed the finish line in Antigua 56 days later. Wow, what a feat. He completed a 3,000-mile journey a week ahead of schedule. Quote, it took 6 long weeks to row the Atlantic, but the challenge itself has taken over 18 months of training and preparation. So I'm very proud of what I've achieved and the unbelievable journey I've been on. And he took part of a goal, raising money for $1 million. More than 9,400 donors helped him reach his goal as of February 16th. He raised over $1,048,783,000. And it goes on a little bit longer than that, but for the sake of time here, what a cool story and the feel-good story of the day. We always love our feel-good stories, Ray. It's a pretty cool thing to bring something positive to the table. Now,
yeah, it's a feel-good story, but it's making me feel lazy. So
yeah, there you go. That's a good way to say it. That's right. So Diane Vance,
I can't even swim my pool.
yeah, two or three laps in the pool, and yeah, exactly. Breathing hard. Wrestling with the dogs for 30 seconds. Breathing hard. So William Crowley's on the line. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Ray Hall in studio. We got our A team for the real estate space here. So I was going to pose that question right before the break there of and we'll just get quick answers from everybody since we're in our lightning round here. But when you look at how do you see this affecting and this federal increase, the $15 an hour increase? How do you see that affecting the economy in general, or maybe even your industry specific? Let's just start in studio here, Ray Hall.
And I'm sure it's a touchy subject for a lot of people, but I'm from the train of thought that handouts never work.
Yeah.
Giving someone more than what they've earned doesn't work.
Yeah.
Never does. Never has.
Yep.
I feel we should be encouraging harder work to move into better positions because this higher income, it's going to affect businesses.
Yeah.
And businesses aren't going to just sit there and say, well, we're going to make less money now because we have to pay more people. They're going to find ways to cut the cost or have the consumer pay for it.
And increase the cost. Yep.
Exactly. So,
consumer.
That Big Mac might cost $8 now.
Yeah.
And that person who's behind the counter running the register may be gone now.
That's
because
right.
now we can just have one of those kiosks and you punch in what you want and
Exactly.
a robot makes your burger in the back.
That's right. Autonomous vehicles. I mean, it continues to go on. William, you were jumping in?
No, I mean, yeah, I agree with what he's saying, and everything's a touchy subject nowadays. So I think the main thing is that I think they should let each state decide. Of course, that's not going to happen because
Right.
it's a federally mandated subject. Nevertheless,
Yeah.
I think that it'd be more effective to let each state deal with it from their own premise, and then maybe even each industry, because I think that I don't think there should be one. But if they're going to do it, let the state and the industries possibly decide, not be federally mandated.
That's a great point because New York is such a higher cost of earning, cost of living, cost of everything.
Yeah.
California is similar. Diane, what's your take?
Well, I'm kind of the opinion, maybe a little different than you all, but I think everybody should have a living wage. But at the same time, I read somewhere if in the last 30 years had we had the same for inflation and things like that, it would be like $22 an hour right now.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah.
so I think with it depends on inflation, it depends on the industry, and you're right, it will be passed on to consumers, but whether they're paying I don't even know what the minimum wage is now, and I should have a lot of people that work for me, but I pay them more than minimum wage.
A little over 8, we think.
Yeah, so $8.50 or whatever it is. So I think even with that, you're still going to have the kiosk and the jobs go away. I don't think it matters. I mean,
Technology's coming either way.
Technology is coming no matter what. So, but I think people, I'm in the belief that people should better themselves
Right.
whether it's education or going into commission jobs where you don't have a sky,
Yep.
you know, some sort of selling real estate or going to be an appraiser or owning your own company or whatever. So I'm of that belief. But yes, I definitely, there's a lot of opinions out there. And it definitely it's definitely going to make a difference.
Yeah, it could. There's going to be some changes coming. So let's go ahead and jump into our lightning round here. This is our top tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom.
The lightning round!
I am so good at lightning rounds!
I majored in lightning rounds.
All right, back to Diane, VANCE, Fairway, independent mortgage, local lender. Support your local economy.
Well, my tip is to always plan, get started now. If you need to go to William, we'll send you to William, but get started. There's so many different programs, so many different ways, and you can purchase. It may take a little longer, so you have to start somewhere.
That's right. Get it going, and because you don't want to show up, you don't want to find that house that you love and only find out, oh no, my credit got hit by identity theft, which leads us to William Crowley, because identity theft is rampant out there, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, identity theft is. But one thing I learned this week is if I don't hear from Diane, that means business is good. And I don't want business to be that good. but for those who are suffering from the ill effects of identity theft, make sure that you file that police report and also put a promotional block on your credit report. Promotional block on credit report and file a police report. Do not abdicate either of those responsibilities, because if you do that, your credit won't be damaged, because the police report is going to reflect where you're a victim at, and then the credit reporting agencies have to adhere to that report and delete the information that is.
Excellent. Good stuff. All right, Ray Hall Appraisals.
When it comes to your real estate valuation, never assume you know more than the professionals. And, always go with experienced professionals in the industry. A lot of times I have people who were buying a house because their neighbor's son who just got his real estate license needed the work. You want experience, because real estate's a very difficult thing, and real estate valuation is a very complex thing to do.
Yeah.
So go with experience, go with a good reputation, do your research, and don't rush into anything.
It's definitely not easy. Matter of fact, we talked about FSBOs before for sale by owners. Mm-hmm. I had one that I was, talking to about potentially listing. I had my team run the CMA for me. I set up a Zoom call this morning so I could kind of be face-to-face with the gentleman. He was out of state, 100% disabled veteran. Love our veterans, by the way. We want to help you save money. If you're a veteran, first responder, military, teacher, nurse, we're basically looking for ways to give you folks, discounts. So, half a point discount on the deals if you work with us. But long story short, he thought the value was around 355. Comps came in about 285. Mm-hmm. And so I was honest with him. I said, listen, I would love to take the listing, but Keller Williams has a moral obligation, a moral set of ethics that says if it's not a win-win, we can't do the deal.
Right.
So I'd love to take your listing, take overpriced listing, get the listing leads, get all that, or the buyer call leads. I was honest with him. I said, if you want to rent it out, maybe that's something we could look into. You rent it out and then potentially buy your dream home, count that in towards your debt ratio. Would have to check with Diane to see, how that would play out. But, so don't overpay. That's one of the things you've said on the show as well. Don't overpay for the asset because it's going to hurt you.
Exactly. Like I said, when you overpay for that house, you just max out your credit card. You've got no equity, and you've got nothing to fall back on. Should we, see some kind of decline in the market or something happens and you need that equity. Yeah. Use it for emergencies.
That's right.
And it's there for you to use, and you get a great rate on it as opposed to using your credit cards. But, don't use it for silly things. I mean, be responsible.
Yeah.
Borrow responsibly.
So my lightning round tip for this segment, what I would say is you look at a lot of the negativity out there. You look at people, and I talk to a lot of my team about this, is, where are you going to focus at, right? We can focus on something that just happened, like we had a police officer in Pinellas County pass yesterday, and just, there's so many negative things happening, and you look at the geopolitical stuff. But I think now more than ever, we've got to take control of our own mindset, the attitude that we have, and it reminds me of the smiling effect. So there's a rule. Did you know that your mental agility is 31% faster? You're 31% smarter. You have more mental agility just by the simple fact that you're smiling. You're in a good mood. You put yourself in that mood. You make yourself be in a positive mindset, whether it takes you talking about incantations, you saying your positive vibes, prayer, whatever it takes, but put yourself in that, you have a contagious attitude of gratitude, right? That's going to help you overcome a lot of things. And you look at, the economy, different things out there, the more that you can stay positive, and yeah, you may have some rough clients that are tough on you and different things, but you've got to snap right out of it, especially if you're in sales, and then go right back into that positive state. And the smiling effect is really cool. 31% smarter just by simply being smiling and in a good mood. Pretty cool. Yeah.
I got to smile more.
There you go. Put yourself in that mood, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage, thanks so much. We appreciate you. And
Thank you.
Thanks for calling into the show. Great nuggets of advice today. William Crowley, thanks as well. Thanks again, my friend.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Always a pleasure.
All right. And Ray Hall here in studio as well. Thanks so much, Ray.
Thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure.
Awesome. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another and be a force for good in the community. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And make sure you stop by our website, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.